You're listening to WCAT Radio, your home for authentic Catholic programming.
Praise be to Jesus forever. Jesus Seekers. The book is the Bible, the books of John, the Gospel of John, first, and announced in the book as the love letters from your Father. That on each page of John's Gospel, the beloved is a love letter from the Father in heaven, brought by Jesus himself. And he himself is the letter. The messenger is the message. And we're in a very exciting time right now. I'm just shivering with excitement over what the chapter 7, where Jesus goes to the temple at the feast of the tabernacles, and where people are saying, well, what is he coming for? We hear rumors that the Pharisees want to capture him and kill him. And he goes on a late date, and all the people are celebrating. He comes in this last day where he calls himself, I am the light of the world. They put out these lights of celebration to the four corners of the world. And he says, I am the light of the world. I am the living water, the flowing water that washes away your sins. I am the flowing water that washes away all the junk that's in your life and flows out of the temple and into the Kedron stream next to the temple. You notice that Jesus is always saying, wherever he goes, he's always talking about I am. And the only time in the scripture that they talk about the I am is when Moses went to the mountain and came down and says, what is the name of God? What is his name? All the gods of those pagans, they all have a name. And they have these fantastic names that mean nothing. And sometimes they mean demons, Baal. And what's his name? What's the name of God? Well, Yahweh. What is Yahweh? I am. I am. I am the essence. I am the creator. I am everything. I am everywhere. I am with you. I love you. I created you. I put you into this world. And now Jesus comes as the Son of God. And he repeats this word. And the Pharisees and the elders are all in consternation. The chief priests and all, they're in consternation. He comes and tries to clear the temple. He shows himself and says, I am. I'm going to clear out and return the temple to the work of God. Excuse me. So, and they say, he's beginning to say that he's God. He's not a man. He's not this man of Nazareth. He's not this wandering preacher. And he's working miracles. He's working wonders. They won't say miracles, wonders. Strange enough that these wonders that he's working are equal and even beginning to show that they're greater than the miracles of the prophets, who used these wonders to prove that they were speaking for God, speaking in his name. Nabi, the prophet who speaks in the name of God. And so they're very disturbed. And here he's wandering around freely, no control. He's like to them, their view, and the human view, he's a cannon out of control, sweeping along the deck. He's not being tied down to one position or one place. And they are the controllers. They're the ropes that control people. They're the ones who say, you can do this in the name of God if we say so. And if you repeat what we tell you, the traditions of the fathers. But Messiah didn't come just to repeat what people were always saying or their misinterpretations. He came to give the truth, the way, and the life. He came to lead. He came to be the I am. Maybe they didn't understand in the confusion of the different, almost contradictory things that were said predicting the Messiah. That he would be the leader and that he would be the suffering servant. Jesus puts it all together. But he says, I am the I am. And the people are listening to him. They're listening to him. They applaud him. And they come back to the Lord. They come back in a new way. They're reborn. So it's very exciting. You have this two-sided clash. Now, if you look into the scriptures in the way of human beings, and I'll say it in lay terms, as far as I can, the best I can, and he's a narcissist. They said he's a narcissist. He's always talking about I am, I am, I am. If you and I were to go to people and say, I am, or this is my word, this is my teaching, I say, I am Romuald Simeone. I am the great teacher. You'd laugh me off the stage. I laughed myself off the stage. It's ridiculous. That would be ridiculous. And that's the trouble with a narcissist. Narcissists, and let's describe a narcissist. A narcissist is a person who says, I am, and when you check him out, he's not. He's not. You may have better thoughts than he has. And you find out that the whole quality of a narcissist is that he's up on top, he's top of the heap, and he pushes you down. You can't crawl up. You're under their feet all the time. If he is, you aren't. He's got all the answers. And in your mind, in your heart, and in your experience, you see that he doesn't. The experience is contrary to them. You say, I'm somebody too. I've got a position. I've got an opinion. I have a truth. Because truth is reality, and he's not showing reality. So if you look at Jesus and how the Pharisees were looking at him, they would say in modern terms, he's a narcissist. He's on top of the hill. He's going to push us off. How wrong they are. Jesus is the I am, who does have all the answers, and he is the supreme narcissist who isn't narcissistic. He lifts everybody up. He wants to lift us up to his position. That's not what a narcissist does in human way. Now, it seems a paradox. It is a paradox. Jesus is God. He is the supreme being. He has all the answers. And when he says, I am the light and I remove darkness, not only does he remove darkness from the very people, he starts the very people that surround him, that begin to see it. And this is disturbing to people who are trying to prevent it. But It continues and continues and continues and never ends. You go from generation to generation, from nation to nation, one culture after the other, and coming to Jesus Christ and to his word and to agreeing that he is the I am, that he brings light out of darkness, that he gives us living water and moving water, water from a rock where there isn't any water, water that is stagnant and filthy and toxic. Anyone who drinks from this stream of Jesus improves. Isn't there? If you eat of his flesh and drink of his blood, you are nourished. And you have thousands and thousands, millions who show it. So there is no narcissist in the world who brings you up to their level. They're always putting you down. The capital sin of invidia. We say envy, but people get the wrong idea of envy. They think, oh, I look at someone else and I can't reach him. Jesus says, reach me. And if you find out that you can't reach me and it's difficult to reach me, I will lift you up. I will bring you up to the Father. I will bring you up to myself. It's only your resistance and your personal choice of trying to do two things, trying to struggle down back to the things of the world that drag you down. So that's what he's always saying. He's saying that to the apostles that are observing him at the festival of the tabernacles. He's teaching them. And what does he say to them? You're all equal. You're all human. You all have defects. So what does he do for us? He mirrors us. He shows us who we are and where we are in his light, in his reflection of him, pattern on him. And he says, I'll remove those shadows. I'll remove those and bring you up to myself. And ultimately, when you see the apostles later in their witnessing life after Pentecost, when they finally see it and they need a spiritual insight of the Holy Spirit to see it, because you can't see it. You know why? We're all two-way mirrors. We're mirrors in reverse. We look at ourselves and look at others, and what do we see? A two-way mirror, we see ourselves as the great honchos, the great I know-it-alls. yeah, we're accused of that too. But in ourselves, we know we're not. And when we look at the others, the two-way mirror, the others, we see them lower. We use that expression to say, I'm just as good as someone else, or we're fairly saying I'm better than someone else. I'm better than almost all the people I can see around me. And that is our defect. That's my defect. That's my defect. That's my defect too. I see myself. That's where my lower nature is working. And I say, gee, I know better than others. Then I always surprised. I open up a book or meet someone and I says, gee, he's better than I am when I reflect on it. I admire. That's what's called admiration. Appreciation of someone else. Then you're beginning to look at the mirror more correctly. And Jesus is a two-way mirror. But his two-way mirror is different. He is the I am. He does have all the answers. And in that mirror, he says, look at yourself. And when you look at yourself, you know you can't reach it. Don't tear him down. Try to lift yourself up. Reach out to him. He gives you not the helping hand. He carries you on his shoulders. He brings you out of yourself. You can't handle it without him. You're crippled. He uncripples you. You're blind. He makes you see. He gives you strength. You're weak and have no strength. And he brings you out of yourself. He's always there to help. And so, is he the one that you should tear down? Is he the one you should say, well, I know all about it. You know, I studied my catechism. And you go your own way in life and say, oh, yeah, I have faith. If I do something, I'll pray for you. And the prayers are half prayers. Not prayers of saying, I want you equal, at least equal, and bring you up to my standard. Those who do that, at least, are in the right way. And we do know those who are of goodwill. When we meet them, we become better people. It can start out from a mother or a father. It can start out from a sibling. It can start out from a friend. It can start out from someone, certainly, who has the attitude and image of Jesus. And in our lives, it's true. We do meet such people. We do meet heroes. They don't have to be great heroes of great positions. They can be ordinary people. Let me give you one example in my life. I don't say you have the same example, and you haven't, this person is nameless, not famous. When in Thailand, I entered by accident in my witnessing program when I was trying to work as a catechist with Archbishop Keon, a native Archbishop of Tare, Thailand. And I went wandering around and looking to see where I could help someone. And I felt a little lonely and heard that there was an encampment. You know, you're in a foreign country and you're talking to people and all that. And in the end, at night, you feel you haven't communicated because people are not of your own culture. And so I happened to stumble on it, that in the center of Thailand was a special place called Bong Ting. What was it? A secret air base of the American military that had a secret air base in the middle of a neutral country that was firing upon North Vietnam. It was safe because it was in a neutral country, yet in the American media that I saw there, it said that this was a group of bombers that were on Guam in Midway Island. But they were right in the middle. They were in Midway, all right, but they were in the middle of a neutral country safe. So I was going there and stumbled upon this little area where there was a mission to lepers. Leper village has no name, so we call it Bong Ting but it's not inbound thing. It's has no name. And the people have no names. And there was this missionary from America, a redemptorist, and he was looking for all the help he can get from anybody. Well, I found heroes in there. Here was a leper that I met there, and I was taking photographs for this missionary. And this man had no feet. That is, half feet. His toes in the beginning of his feet had dissolved, were gone. And he was sitting there, and I was embarrassed not to take his picture. And he said, no. Go ahead. Take a picture of me, because I'm a Christian. I'm a Catholic like yourself. And I want to thank the people who give me at least my clothing. They don't know who I am. I don't know who they are. But we're connected. I would not even have something on my back if they were not reaching out to the poor. And I took his picture. He says, and when you show this picture, thank them for me. All right. Well, in the time that I was there in that village, this man disappeared. He was out of the village, and I kind of missed him. And said, where is he? Well, he's out in the bush. He's out in the bamboo forest. We don't know where he went, but he's been gone for a week. And there's another one gone with him who can help him walk. He says, and will he be back? We don't know. In another week, like 2 weeks, they stumble in, these two, the man without full feet, he's using them almost like crutches. The other one is holding a young woman on his back who has leprosy. They're carrying her from whatever distance it was, not a great distance because they could hardly move. I don't know if they could make a mile or half a mile a day, carrying this woman on his back. About 18 years of age, struggling person, happy that she's on his back, yet weeping. He was cast out of her village. She's a Buddhist, because they think that a person with leprosy is possessed of the devil, possessed of an evil spirit. Bad news for their village. They cast him out or kill him. Mostly cast him out because Buddhists don't like to kill people. And they found her through the grapevine. They're not even sure how. We're not sure how they heard about her. They went searching for her and put her on one leper's back, the other leper holding her to be in the back. She didn't have much of a grip, apparently, and bringing her to salvation, to a Christian village, a leper village. That's a hero. That's a hero. Completely committed, completely nothing for themselves except the spiritual motivation that this is a child of God. They're not looking at the analysis. They're not looking at her religion or anything. Just a person, a human being who's out there dying and will die, abandoned. You can't begin to think of being a narcissist in that situation. That's how Jesus are. That's how we are with Jesus. We're helpless. We're lepers. You heal the leper, he's healing us. We have leprosy. We're disintegrating. Our spirits are disintegrating. Every time we commit a sin, a capital sin, we lose a limb. We lose a limb. We lose a way of relating. We lose a way of connecting with anger, with greed, with sloth, not getting out there to do God's work while we are living. When are you going to do God's work? You can't do it when you're dead. You can't do it just because someone waves a hand over you and says, he was a good guy, he made us laugh. Good guy. We had a lot of fun with him at the pub. Jesus is real. And that life is real. If you don't handle it when it's real and it's gone, you don't handle it at all. We remain just a shadow. Made with a person who's looked at a two-way mirror, both of them negative. Negative about ourselves and negative about others. So, what does Jesus come to do? He came to liberate the self-enslaved. We got the wrong idea. We think we're being enslaved by the society, by the culture, by people around us. We can be liberated from that. Jesus is the new Moses. And more than the new Moses, he's the Son of God. He came not only to show us the I am, but to be the I am, and to bring us up to being his images. So that when he looks at us, he can say, you're something. You're me. When the Father looks at us, he can say, I see my son in you. You look like him. You're reborn. You look like your regenerator. A regenerator is Jesus. I recognize you because you look like him. You look like the devil you were at one time. You don't look at the person who's always whimpering and saying, somebody else did it to me. Lord, like Adam said, Lord, you wanted me to obey you, but you gave me a woman to deceive me. And she says, and you send a snake here to deceive me. It's all God's fault. How ridiculous. It's stupid and it's horrific. Yes, Jesus is the new Moses. He didn't come down from a mountain. He came down from heaven. He didn't come just to give us physical food and manna in the desert. He came to give us his own flesh and blood. Daily. No limitation. Only limited about how hungry you are and how you're willing to image him. So, what's the resistance now of the Pharisees and the elders against Jesus? They didn't want to be pushed off their little mountains. And they were all out there, all these experts pushing each other off. Each one to say, I'm more expert than you are. Narcissism has no limits. Never gives up. Looking at the other person and says, oh, why is that person prosperous? Why is that person being listened to, but I'm not? I got to put my name forward. Well, in a way, I think the saint said, forget my name. Just call on Jesus. Forget me. Call on Jesus. He's there, and he's there for you. So that is what reborn means. And in this chapter 2, there's a person who's reborn who finally comes through. And that was Nicodemus. Chapter 7, John's Gospel. But there's another one before that, and we don't know his name. When the elders saw what was happening, they wanted to kill Jesus. And at first, they're going to capture him. They're going to judge him. No doubt they're already ready to condemn him. Doesn't seem as severe or as exciting as when 2 years later, they bring him to the cross. Because it didn't work this time. You know, you heard of good cop and bad cop. There's 2 times that the captains of the Levites, the security guards, are mentioned in the scriptures. One is in this chapter. The other one is when the soldiers are sent to Gethsemane, led by Judas, to capture Jesus in the Garden of Olives. Here, they're coming actually into the temple area. You don't have to go too far, because he's there. And the captain of the Levites. And I'm going to, since he has no name, I don't know of any literature I could find where it refers to his name. But we know from when Jesus went to the Samaritans, then he called a good Samaritan. These evil Samaritans, these heretical Samaritans, these horrible Samaritans. Now we call it the Good Samaritan. People can understand that there could be good even in people that were away from God before. I'll call him the good Levite, the good captain, the good cop. And he's sent post haste. They send him to the temple. Call out the security. Call out the security. Jesus is here. This upstart is here. He's going to disturb the people. He's going to set them wrong. And this one, following his orders to find this demagogue who is so evil, who is destroying the peace of the temple. He's got to keep the peace, right? Peacekeepers are tough people. They may keep the peace, but they have power, and they have swords, and they have spears, and they have guns to keep the peace. It sounds like an oxymoron, but there's some value to it, some human reason for it. And they go there, and this captain doesn't simply say, well, there he is, there, where's Jesus, where's Jesus? Like they did at the Garden of Gethsemane. He watched to see who he was supposed to arrest. And what does he see? Let me read it from the love letters because it says it better, When an author writes something, he forgets what he wrote, or he doesn't say it as well. He can't articulate it as well in common speech as what he wrote in the book. The officer, admitting dereliction of duty, refused to do so when he came back to the elders. And he said this: in conscience, I could not execute a warrant on an obviously false charge. The document ordered me to arrest some demagogue who was upsetting the peace of the sacred precinct with outrageous blasphemies, causing division and riotous disturbance. Yet I arrived there and found this man, named in the warrant, was actually the miracle-working rabbi who heals our people, who has a reputation from all. We heard of him. We saw him in the temple when he cleansed the temple. He didn't attack anything evil. He restored the temple to peace from riotous dealing of money changers and persons who were robbing the people of the sacrifices. We know of him. We've seen him before. He was expounding the scriptures when we met him and respectfully spoke of God in the manner of a prophet. A great audience of pious Jews, observing him peacefully, were at prayer and gathered around him. In some ways, some people heckled him. Others opposed and approved. The majority encouraged what he was saying. Nothing was really that unusual except his presence. So was I to arrest a rabbi preaching the law and the prophets in a sacred place for religious encouragement? I stood aside and listened with my platoon of guards. Never before had we all experienced such an inspired and enraptured presence from this preacher. It was clear to us all that the Nazarene rabbi could not have been the notorious criminal that we were to apprehend. So I did not arrest him. God bless him. Whose side was he on? He was following the Torah. And later, when they said, "You are not doing your duty," there was a judge there from the Sanhedrin, and his name was Nicodemus. And Nicodemus had come to Jesus in secret to find out who Jesus was. And when he found out who Jesus was, he found out who he himself was. If he's going to be reborn, let him be the just judge. And so he says, there is no evidence. The captain's right. The captain's right. I judged him for a long time myself and found not only no fault in him, but he changed me for the better. And that's what you say when you witness. You can find fault in yourself because that's how he mirrors you, because that's what you see reflected on him, that you don't follow his pattern. You come very far away from the pattern, sometimes so far that you can be seen to be a pagan who never knew him. Do you know him? Then you love him. You can't really know him without loving him. You can say that about yourself. People know me, they love me, but that doesn't have that much meaning. You're not asking them, but all the way around. You know who you met. And when you're met, you want to follow. And when you want to follow, you want to be like him. You're not afraid of the dark anymore because you're in the light. You're not afraid of opposition. You're not afraid of saying, what do people think of me? We want to know what they think of Jesus. And if they're focusing on you, then you've done something. Look into yourself. You said something wrong. You said something very human, not very religious. I'm sure, like the example we're using of Mother Teresa, and I didn't see it when I met her, that you saw Teresa. You didn't see Teresa, you saw Jesus. Just like she saw the face of Jesus when she picked that first child in the streets of Calcutta and wiped that child's face. Child of a dead father. Child abandoned. And she wiped that face, and she had been thrown out of the convent as an ex-nun and didn't know where to go. But she said, on the child, I saw the face of Jesus. And I guarantee you, the child could look at her. She didn't see Teresa. She saw the face of Jesus. And that's what we go. That's the way it has to happen. So, evangelization is not a specialization of the Christian. It's a duty. Go out and teach what I have taught you and baptize them in the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. So, we're not out here to kill or be killed. But there are those who want to kill. They just don't want to kill babies. They want to kill Jesus. Jesus is the name they cannot stand. Jesus is the name that is rejected. He's a sign of rejection in the culture. If he's rejected in the culture, they're going to reject you. Bring him back in. Don't be afraid to say his name. Because he is the way, the truth, and the life. He is the I am. And if you can't say that he is the I am, then you're not. I'm not. And we have to face reality. So, let's not be closet narcissists who pop out and show our colors when we talk or act. No one is on top of that hill. No one is on top of the hill but the one who tries to pull us up and get us over that mountain and level the plain. But Jesus. You'll meet many narcissists in your life. We call them by different names. Abusers, parent mode people who say, do it my way, you do it my way, or the highway. You may interpret Jesus' words that way, but you're wrong. Because he's the only narcissist who is the I am, and he's trying to bring you up to where he's at. And he's never going to push you down. He's never going to step on you. He's going to kick away what's holding you back and bring you to himself. So my narcissist friends in Jesus, my self-enslavers, I'm not putting you down. I've been the same way as that. I've been there. It's like someone who says, I'm sorry because I understand you, not because I wasn't there, because I was there and sometimes I am there. Let's tell the truth to each other. Let's tell the truth to Jesus. Let's tell the truth about Jesus, because he's the only one who is the I am. And he wants, when he looks at us, he says, and you are, and I will lift you up. I am the light of the world. And I'm not saying it the way humans say it, because with me, it's totally true. And I will lift you up. I will not only, I have given you life because I'm the creator, I will give you eternal life because I don't want to leave you behind. You're mine. You're mine. And I won't leave you behind. Pray for me. God bless you.
Hi there, this is Christine Mooney Flynn, host of the Catholic Mama podcast, and I'd like to invite you to join me over on the Catholic Mama. To develop a Christian family and raise children who are, and who, God willing, will continue to be confident Catholics, requires us as parents to be confident in our faith as well. So each week, I dive into topics that help to make sense of the Catholic faith and how to live out that faith in our vocation as husbands and wives, moms and dads. So whether you need help in explaining aspects of Catholic doctrine like the real presence in the Eucharist, or if you're looking for practical ideas on how to live a more Catholic life, my goal is that you'll find the answers and guidance you're looking for over on my show, The Catholic Mama. I hope to see you there.
Thank you for listening to a production of WCAT Radio. Please join us in our mission of evangelization. And don't forget, love lifts up when knowledge takes flight.